Hey, what's up, Alan? I'm here with Frank Turner.
Hey,
How's it
man.
going?
How you doing?
Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So right off the bat, my first question is, tell us the Frank Turner story. Yeah, how did you start? Well, I guess how did you get into punk rock, and then how did you? I know you played in Million Dead, and then that was a post-hardcore band, and then you started singer-songwriting.
Well, I was born. Not much happened for some time.
Yeah.
And then I got into music because my parents weren't really. My parents think that music ended in 1900, so there was no like modern music in my house. But I was at a friend of mine's house, and his older brother had an Iron Maiden poster on the wall,
Nice.
and it was like a zombie futuristic cowboy. It was Stranger in Strange Land poster.
Yep.
I was like, that's basically the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then he was like, that's a band. At which point my mind fell apart, and it's been downhill since there, as far as my mum's concerned, at any rate. Anyway, so I kind of got into metal, then I kind of got into punk, and then I was in loads and loads of really, really bad punk bands. I was even in a ska band once, which is something
Nice.
I'm trying to hush up. And then I was in Million Dead, and Million Dead came to an end in 2005 when we all took the executive decision that we wanted to kill each other, and that we probably shouldn't be in a band with each other anymore. And I don't know, I just kind of... Million Dead was a band that we were kind of hyper intense, and we wanted to be Black Flag crossed with Refused, crossed with, you know, it was like we wanted to. We had that whole kind of like 10,000 yard stare as a band sort of thing going on, and so when it came apart, I was just really done with that kind of music. So I decided to play kind of acoustic, folky stuff, which is my other kind of taste in life. Started touring. And then haven't stopped, really. I mean, it's like this is year 6 on the road now, and it's brought me to Toronto.
Well, a good segue. This is year 6 on the road, and you just played the road.
I did, yeah.
And I really get the sense that from this album, touring has really, I mean, touring so intensely I feel like it sort of comes out on this record.
Yeah, I think so. And the thing is, I'm kind of pleased with how it came out in this record. I'm kind of mindful of the fact I need to stop writing songs about being on tour now. Do you know what I mean? I've kind of done my songs about being on tour. And sooner or later, you fall into that trap of just having no kind of relevance for your audience. Because it's a pretty bizarre lifestyle to lead, being on tour, certainly as much as I tour. You know, it's not particularly normal.
You're in a bubble.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, you know, I feel like a pirate is how I think of myself, actually. You know,
Looting people?
Well, yeah, you travel from town to town. Your van is like a ship. You have a captain, who's your tour manager, and you arrive and you loot and pillage, and then you get back in your ship and go somewhere else.
Do you have a parrot?
Huh?
Parrot?
I need one actually, and an eye patch and all that sort of business. I'm working on it. It's my new look. I've got a stylist working on it.
I have to ask you, first of all, how old are you?
I'm.
Because you're very tall.
I'm very tall.
Yeah.
Well, I was tall when I was 15, actually, which was many years ago. I'm 28. I turned 28 recently, which means I'm out of the woods on the whole dying at 27 thing. So,
Nice.
I mean, particularly in the last kind of week of being 27, I was really like looking out for sharp objects, vans, like, you know, crossing the road, drug overdoses, all that kind of thing.
27, man. The
yeah.
rock star. That's the rock star.
Right. It's the club, and I'm not a member, which is a good thing because.
But you're kind of the anti-rock star too, right?
Well, I do. I mean, thank you, I guess, but I don't really believe in that word anyway. I think it's nonsense. My mother brought me up to believe that manners are important, and I don't understand why just because you play guitar you're allowed to disregard that fact. And you know, you just see people. I've seen plenty, because I've been doing this for a while, and I've seen plenty of musicians who are just in a hurry to be unpleasant to their fellow man, and I just think that's awful. And if they were serving you in a shop, you'd complain about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just the fact that they've got a guitar doesn't justify being horrible. I'm skirting my language here.
It's all right, man. You can swear if you want.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
they're twats. Right, there we go.
Well, I mean, one thing I guess about that, one thing I like about that though is that you know you can still be, I think, a dick, but a good musician. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you can. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, but it just kind of like, for me, the two things are kind of separate. And you know, the business of being a musician is what happens when I'm playing the guitar or when I'm thinking about playing guitar. Right now, I'm not being a musician. I'm just being a person who's talking to you and having a conversation.
Dude.
Yeah, and I just never got that correlation. And I just think that the other thing as well is that I think that music is about empathy and about shared experience. And if the people making music are so explicit about not having anything in common with their audience because they're above them, then everything they do becomes completely tedious and redundant to me. Do you know what I mean? If David Bowie is genuinely a space alien, then I have no interest in what he has to say because I am not a space alien and I don't really care what space aliens think about life, love, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, what interests me about art, generally speaking, is when it's a conversation between equals. You know, and that's why I was attracted to folk music. You know, as it's kind of community music. It's the sound of a community discussing its issues together, and you know, just this kind of like that whole kind of feeling that people are above their audience, just don't care. If you know, if Axl Rose is above me, then I don't care about Axl Rose or anything he has to say.
He's got cornrows, man.
He does. He's also got a Botox car crash going on his face, which I'm not pleased about. And although my other theory though is that Axl Rose, right? I shouldn't even say this on camera. I get in so much trouble. He spliced off his own DNA, right, and had himself regrown into a new pop career as Avril Lavigne.
That's disturbing. It's very disturbing.
It's true. Look at an old photo of Axl Rose and look at Avril Lavigne and tell the difference.
I'll put it beside each other.
Yeah.